She stepped up to the 700. You, me, and every man that follows greyhound racing thought she was going to be out in front, off and gone, and being that front-running star. Like how if she can run the trip, how are they going to pick her up? I think the first time she won here at 7:15 at Sandown, it was like from the front, can she stay? Oh, she can stay. They're not going to beat her. But then, as times evolved, she's turned into the mid-pack. Give me a bit of room and I'll flash home late sort of stayer. And I just thought tonight with the Raiders Guide, the Groove Bird, the Tammy McIvers, the Reiterates going forward, this race shape suits her tonight. I know they're not really coming from off the speed, but I think a greyhound of her ability can sit mid-pack and just with that residual staying fitness have the last crack at them. And I think she's the X factor in this series. And if she can get her own way and race truly here tonight, I'll be really interested to see what time she can put on the board compared to the likes of Lady Wilson and Passmark, who have been fantastic in the earlier heats.
Before we get out to Smithy in the yard, number 8, Reiterate. And speaking of speed, he has been one where generally he goes forward over 700 metres. Can he do that from box 8 tonight?
Well, I think he'll go forward. Can he lead is a question mark, because if he can't lead, for me, he can't win.
Yep.
He's very suspect late. He was runner-up to Ella's Bay, but he got in a bit of a bumping duel, no fault of his own, with Lanfranco in the concluding stages there. He would have run third, beaten, a half a dozen lengths to Ella's Babe in 42 even kind of thing would have been what the race run. So I don't think he's a genuine bona fide stayer. He is one, if he's drawn closer to the fence, that can lead. He can make his own luck. But off the wide draw here tonight, with some genuine group stayers drawn closer to the fence that have a front running sort of racing pattern, I think his task is pretty difficult.
All right, let's get out to Corey Smith, who's got Carol Martin, who's normally the one right next to Raiders Guide when he has an away trip.
Yes, absolutely. I'm with Carol Martin and Raiders Guide, and I'll tell you what, I'm glad I'm not the one walking him out to the boxes. He's a big, strong bull, and he's happy to be back here in Victoria.
He does. He knows what it's all about now, so he gets a little bit headstrong when he's at the track, but that's okay.
And how about the travel over? He usually travels pretty well from memory? Yeah,
we hopped on the plane this morning. We got here a couple of hours ago, and he just travelled really well. He's pretty relaxed. He's pretty used to it, so he sort of knows the routine now. So he's that's probably the least of our worries as he's travelling.
Well, having a look at his box stats, he's got a fantastic record from inside draws for a dog that likes to use a little bit of the track. Is this where you want him drawn, or would you rather him in the middle of the track?
Oh, look, 99% of people say they like him out of box 1. I personally don't, but everyone else does. He has a great track record out of box 2, but I guess it all depends. His start will tell the story. If he jumps out, then box 1's absolutely suitable. If he doesn't, then he's got a whole world of traffic in front of him.
Oh, well, good luck. I know Tasmania's cheering on, and I'll grab Christiana with Groove Bird as well. Christiana, you've got such a good affinity with this dog. I know how much you love her, and to get her to the start for another Group 1 heat, you must be excited.
Yeah, look, I'm just hoping she gets out well, and then the rest is up to her.
We heard George Ferrugia on grey areas during the week, and he said she might be a little bit underdone going into this, but we heard the same about Passmark, and he leads all the way. Can she do it?
Yeah, she can. If she gets out, she can lead all the way, but he's not wrong in saying they're a bit underdone, because there's no 700-metre races for these dogs leading up to these sort of events, so...
See how she goes. She's a star. She's super professional, and she does not look out of place in a race like this. Tom Daly, quick word. Ethanol water. How's she going to go?
Yeah, she's fit enough, so see how she goes. She gets a clear run. She's a chance.
You left Ethanol Volume at home. He always screamed out to be a stayer as well, but she's the one that's just taken that mantle and just run with it.
Yeah, I didn't really want to put him in it, but like she runs 700 easy, so... And like I said, she's going good, so we'll see how she goes.
All right, well, good luck. This is a race that is set to be a ripper. There is a hell of a lot of early speed in this one, boys, and there's strength in it too. So I'm going to say it again. It's another intriguing heat of the Sandown Cup.
Got that on repeat, C. Smith. It is very intriguing indeed. The fourth and final heat. A look at the market before we do... Well, we are joined by Sky Racing 1, Ethanol Water 250, Raiders Guide now 340 and Groove Bird 420. Of course, we expect the speed to come from her, as well as Reiterate from box 8 at $9.50. However, he must lead to be any chance of winning this race. So Ethanol Water 250, that's probably exactly what you want, Nath. given how good she is, and as much as it is a big challenge against Raiders Guide, she's good enough to overcome it.
Yeah, I think it's a fair enough price, $250. I've marked her a touch in the red, Jay, so I've got her odds on. I'm really, really keen on her tonight. I've made her one of the better bets of the evening. I've put her on top, and I just think she can settle behind the speed. She's been a genuine 700-metre stayer, as Tom Daly said. She's quite strong, and I just think she'll get the last crack at him here tonight. For second, I'll put in number 1, Raiders Guide, Jace, another greyhound who knows what group racing's about. He's going to be on speed, and he's going to be a major player. He's going to put himself right into this race from box rise. For third, number 7, Stacey's Mum, bit of value there around the $21. Going quite well since joining the Kayla Cottrell kennel. Hasn't had a great deal of luck. And then for fourth, I've put in number 2, Groove Bird. Jeff Britton's had a really good run through this series already tonight. Groove Bird's going to put herself into the race, and she looks hard to get past.
And Nath, just repeating for our audience in Sky Racing 1, really keen on ethanol water.
Yeah, made her one of the better bets of the night. I think she can just set behind the speed here. She's crying out for 7.15. I reckon if the luck comes, I think $2.50 is certainly a good price, and I made her one of the best bets of the night. Ethanol water in heat number 4 of the Sandown Cup.
And it is the final heat where these first 2 across the line complete the Sandown Cup field for 2025. Here's Dan Hibbard.
Sandown Cup, and they're just about set to run. First line in, second line secured. Green light. 2 spots remain in the Sandown Cup for 2025. Who will it be? We're ready to run. Race number 6. And away, flying out was Stacey's Mum, landed a length and a half, 2 lengths in front of Groove Bird, and Tammy McIver gets to third. Miss Mary Jo was next from Reiterate. Behind them was Scotch Time, well back Raiders Guide, and Ethanol Waters last. So the favourite and second favourite have got it all to do because Stacey's Mum is highballing in front. Up to second goes Tammy McIver. It's 6 lengths then to Miss Mary Jo on the inside. Reiterate. They're all bunching up along these ones out the back. Raiders Guide now starts to run on. The leaders have mucked up again. Tammy McIver took out Stacey's Mum. Miss Mary Jo got the lead. Raiders Guide is coming. Miss Mary Jo. Miss Mary Jo beat Raiders Guide and Reiterate. Fourth in was Scotch Time. Next time, Ethanol Water. Tammy McIver, Groove Bird, Stacey's Mum. 42 dead the time. Number 3.
Drama, drama, drama. A race that changed complexion drastically with Tammy McIver taking her mind off the job. In the end, allowing opportunity for Miss Mary Jo to come through on the rail and get the job done. And importantly, for the fans of one of the stars of the game in Raiders Guide, he is through to the Sandown Cup final. Beneath, but a race that changed complexion drastically when they got past the 595 boxes.
It certainly did. The on-speed runners took their mind off the job again, and Miss Mary Jo was just in behind the speed and was able to take the run. The big guns got shuffled out the back in the early stages. Raiders Guide, Ethanol Water were last and second last, approaching the post the first time. And then as they bunched up down the back, there was no run for Ethanol Water, who decided to go through the middle, where Raiders Guide was able to hook to the outside and get some momentum, and that has allowed him to get a spot in the final, chasing home Miss Mary Jo in for second. And yeah, Terry McIver, she lost the compass at the 595 boxes and took Stacey's Mum, who ran some sections early, right out of the race, and that just changed the whole race shape approaching the home corner. But luck's a fortune, we've already said it here tonight, but Miss Mary Jo, for trainer Colin Kenny down from Warrnambool, was able to be in the right spot at the right time, and he's made his way through to a Sandown Cup, and being from Warrnambool, they know how to win a Sandown Cup out that way.
They do. Of course, Norm McCullough with the mighty bold trees going back all those years ago. This could be a great story. We'll get to Corey shortly. But Nate, Stacey's Mum, she's never began like that in her life, has she? She flew out.
Yeah, she did fly out. She's run 594, 1551 for the first couple of sections, and I'm telling you, this greyhound's only recently gone to Kayla Cottrell, and her runs have been first class. She's had a half a dozen runs for her now, and she's been certainly knocking on the door. She just hasn't had the right bit of luck. 700 usually does see her out, and she didn't get any favours by Tammy McIver there, but she's most probably one to put in your black book because she's racing quite well for Kayla Cottrell, as Kayla's dogs are at the moment, and she can show that speed, and when she drops her back to the 650s around the bush, she's going to be hard to beat.
Miss Mary Jo, the winner of Heat 4 of the Sandown Cup, and I can see in her ownership group The syndicate name is Big Dreams, and don't they have big dreams going into the next Friday night? Corey Smith, take it away.
With Jeff Kanar, the handler of Miss Mary Jo, and Jason Adams just mentioned the syndicate name, Big Dreams. I think you're going to realise a dream next Friday night. You've got a runner in a Sandown Cup.
Yeah, no, that's very good, yeah. Never expected it.
Well, you said to me just before off air that her last 2 runs, you looked at it numerically and you think, oh, maybe she's a little bit out of form with an 8th and an 8th. But she just found trouble in both those runs.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. She got knocked over both times, sort of. Didn't do her best. Never had a chance.
And then first up over 700, first crack at it, I should say. This is obviously where you wanted to get her to?
Yeah, she had a couple of goes, 650 down at Warrnambool and a couple of placings, so we thought she could run it, yeah.
All right, well done, and hopefully that Big Dream Syndicate's out here in force next Friday night, because you've got a Group 1 Sandown Cup winner. That's pretty special.
No, we'll be here, that's for sure. So thanks.
No worries at all. That is a great story, fellas. Big Dream Syndicate, and they've made their way through to the Group 1 Sandown Cup. It doesn't get much better than that.
Indeed, Smithy, looking forward to learning more about that. They're down from the ball and they've got a runner in the Sandown Cup final next Friday night. Nathan, there's not a lot to take from the performance as such. It was honest and she was there ready to strike, which is always important when you get these opportunities, and now for the biggest challenge of her career.
Yeah, for sure. She went around a big price there, and she'll most probably go around a big price next week in the heat. You know, 42.01. Certainly not up with the times we've seen of a couple of the other heats, but she put herself into the race, and luck's a fortune sometimes, and she was there to take it. She's been a consistent greyhound around the 595 and 600 metre trip for a while, stepping up to the 715 here tonight, and she's suited when she's drawn close to the rail. She's a one-pace greyhound that's happy to follow the fence around, so she'll be looking for an inside draw next week, and it was good to see Raiders Guide make it as well, and no doubt he's going to be better for the run next week, and most probably hoping for a middle pin box draw.
100%, and Corey Smith is with his handler Carol Martin.
Yes, back with Carol after the race. The big boys found his way into another Group 1.
Well, I think it's a little bit of... He ran really, really well, but he also got very, very lucky. So, I mean, that's just...
Well, the thing with greyhound racing is you need to take the luck when you can get it.
Well, we'll take this one.
He's a dog that you could see him in the early stages. He just wanted to shift off the track a little bit, didn't he? And it probably didn't all go to plan.
If he gets out in front, whenever he's tried and he gets out on his own, he loves the rails. But that's what I said. Everyone likes him there except me. I just think he doesn't like anything around him. So he just wants to get off and get away from them.
So when they do the box draw, what colour do you want him?
If I don't say 1, I will be ostracised. But look, 7 or 8 for me, and probably 1 for the family. So, but we'll take what we get.
Take what you get in a Group 1 final. He's into another one, and I know Tasmania's cheering.
Yeah, thanks so much, Corey.
Well done, Carol Martin. There is the superstar that is Raiders Guide. Found his way into another Group 1 next week, boys. And it sounds like it. Any box will do. They're just happy to be there.
Yep, indeed, he's through, and that's all that matters to the team. So Miss Mary Jo and Raiders Guide progress from the final heat and join Lady Wilson, Star Stay, Mapunga Surprise, Henry Intention, Passmark and Double Denim in the 2025 edition of the Sandown Cup final. Nath, don't mean to put you on the spot, but who wins it?
Oh, well, there's been a few rough results. So I would think Lady Wilson prior box draw would be certainly well and truly favourite, and it'll be the starting point. And if she draws anywhere close to the fence and underneath the likes of the Raiders Guide, she most probably be able to nearly roll to the top and dictate from the front. Raiders Guide to be looking for a middle to wide draw, and there's a couple of greyhounds that have been fortunate that have been in the back half of the field, so I think this final might string out a little bit. The map of this race might be a little bit easy to dissect, and I think the top couple in the market are clearly going to be the ones to beat. Lady Wilson, Raiders Guide and Passmark have certainly set the bar most probably a little bit above the other 5 greyhounds that are making the final tonight.
And it has been a race over the years, the Sandown Cup, that has produced some crazy things. I mean, there's been an all-the-way winner like Bells are ringing, going back to what I think was 2016, trained by the mighty Jerry O'Keefe, one of the great characters in greyhound racing. And then last year, where it was one of the worst editions of a Group 1 we've ever seen with all that chaos, and Irish Millie ended up winning the race. So anything can happen, Smithy. We've got some big guns a part of it. We've got some roughies, but as I said, they're in it to win it.